London, England, your YouTube feed is up and running. So feel free to join us. Feel free to join us, Asha Ash, as we continue standing by for our first interview. Don't want to have to start and then go straight to the commercial break. So we're going to take that interview at 2:30. We have quite a few lined up, in fact. Stand by for that. But for right now, let's just see if we can give you a quick, we don't like blank spaces, right? We have to fill them. We have to fill them. So let's bring up on the screen right now a couple of the trending stories. And we like to do this because sometimes you just blindly go through the day and not realizing that things are happening or have happened until you see somebody on their phone or you hear sounds coming from a particular phone. So the idea is to ensure that those who listen to this program at least are brought up to date with what is happening or what is not happening. So that's the idea. Prosecution in Suriname wants ex-president Desi Bouterse. And this used to give newsreaders problems, this name. First name is Desi. The surname is Bouterse. Now, on the face of it, it looks French, and it could be Bouters, but it's properly pronounced Bouterse, Desi Bouterse. So, prosecution in Suriname wants ex-president Desi Bouterse jailed for 1982 killings. We'll share a couple more of the trending stories a little later on. But we have to break, come back with our first guest, and then there's more on both sides of the story.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune into Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for The NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's The NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean continues to foster leadership and innovation. The most recent development that has been brought to our attention is that there's a UCC student who will be participating in an international internet forum. The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC student is Chanel McPherson. That's Shanelle, Chanel McPherson. She's among 12 specially selected participants for the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN for short, ICANN, their annual forum, which is scheduled to take place in Cancun, Mexico, March 11 to 16. Let's just pause there to introduce you to our guests at this time. Well, we just shared with you who the student is. Not going to call her Lucky. Every time I use that word Lucky, I remember Shelley Ann Fraser Price. She says luck is from the word Lucifer, so she doesn't believe in luck. She's blessed. So I'm sure Chanel McPherson will agree that she's blessed to have been included in this elite group of young people participating in this event. And so, good afternoon to you, Chanel McPherson. How are you? Chanel,
Yes, can you hear me?
hearing you, but hearing most of what is happening, or more of what is happening in your environment, in your background, than the actual call. The actual,
Okay.
yeah, that sounding a little better. Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, it wasn't you. Sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't on your end.
Okay.
All right. Good to talk with you. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm feeling blessed, actually.
Right. And I think there's a radio in the background that might be a little too loud. All right. All right. They're trying to sort that out in the meantime. But we're also going to be connecting with Albert Daniels, senior manager, stakeholder engagement, Caribbean, Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers. So in the meantime, Chanel, you're still with us, right?
Yes, I'm still here.
So let's get a bit of your background. You're one of the digital babies, so to speak, or not necessarily.
Yes, you are indeed correct. I am one of the digital babies. Well, my interest started with computers from I was a tender age, actually. I realized that having a knowledge in the technical field, it provides support to all sectors. We're talking about sectors such as education, health, security. So because of that, and I know that uh, what my interest is, it can help to solve problems, and I wanted to be one of those persons that can help solve problems in our society.
So why do you think you were selected? Why, you know what the good book says, many are called, but few are chosen.
Well, I might be new to ICANN, but I'm not new in my field. I'm doing a BSc in networking with cybersecurity at UCC.
Oh, that's big.
Yes. Apart from that, I'm also a member of the Internet Society Jamaica chapter,
Mhm.
in which we're also tasked. We're in cooperation with Starlink to have those Starlink devices installed in different rural areas in Jamaica without internet. So we're also looking forward to that initiative.
Oh,
We're also
that will make a difference if and when it gets off the ground.
yes. So we're looking forward to that initiative when it does roll out.
Yes.
And I'll be tasked with teaching majority of these persons in the rural area how to be safe and secure on the internet. So I'm happy and I'm a part of that program when it gets started.
Excellent. And hold it right there as we bring in Albert Daniels now. He's Senior Manager, Stakeholder Engagement, Caribbean, Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. Good afternoon, Albert Daniels. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Happy to be in Jamaica and very proud of what Chanel has been doing here for Jamaica and for the wider Caribbean because she presented yesterday, and when we listened to her presentation, we realized that even before going to the ICANN meeting, she has already done the research to become quite familiar with what ICANN is. So I'm really happy to be here to share with you some information that I'm sure is of very high importance to Jamaicans across the country.
Absolutely. Let's go right into it. What for the benefit of those who are unfamiliar with the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN.
So the acronym ICANN is, as you just explained it, it has two ends in it, one for names and one for numbers. Now, we all know about the internet. We all have cell phones, we have desktop computers, laptops, and so on. And the thing about these computers that are connected to the internet is each device must have a unique identifier. It's usually what's called an IP address. I don't know, you may have seen this when you configure
That's
your routers.
IP is for Internet Protocol.
Internet protocol, absolutely. You may have seen 192.168 something something. So ICANN is a global not-for-profit corporation which manages the Internet's unique system of identifiers, the numbers, first of all, for all of the devices, and also, as important, the names. You know, we use domain names for websites, scotiabank.com, bankofjamaica.jm. We use domain names for email addresses, and ICANN manages all of those top-level domain names in the interest of the community. And there is this system of converting the names to numbers, because we would not be able to remember all of the numbers, especially the longer ones, but we can remember facebook.com or instagram.com and so on. So ICANN manages that system, but it does so on behalf of the stakeholders globally and based on policies that the global stakeholders actually develop. So we're talking about representatives of business, representatives of government, end users, technical communities, security, and so on. And we have these meetings in the 5 geographical regions where policy is discussed. What kind of domain name should we have? How do we deal with security? How do we make the internet a safer place? And we coordinate this, and my role is really to communicate to stakeholders in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean, all 32 territories, what ICANN is and why it's so important to pay attention to what's happening at ICANN, and also important to attend ICANN meetings and let your voice be heard. And this is what's happening with Chanel. We have a next-gen program for university students, and Chanel from the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean has been successfully admitted to that program this year. So ICANN will be covering the cost of her travel and accommodation to attend the upcoming meeting in Cancun, Mexico from the 11th to the 16th of March in 2 months' time.
This is exciting stuff. Chanel McPherson, can you give us an idea of your expectations or how you are expected to function in this capacity?
All right, so my expectation within ICANN is to ensure that, you know, the Caribbean voice is being heard, because one of the things that Mr. Daniels advised me of is that there's not much people from the Caribbean involved in the decision making of the internet governance. Now, one of my main goals is to ensure that I confirm, not just for Jamaica, but for the entire Caribbean region, so that we may have an input in some of these policy decisions that are currently taking place at these ICANN forums.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell us with respect to the actual event? Is it a matter of your sort of collecting data or other forms of information on internet and cybersecurity related matters in Jamaica and making a presentation in Cancun, Mexico from the 11th to the 16th? Is that what is supposed to?
I can tell you a little bit about what happens.
Sure, Mr. Daniels. By the way, I should tell you, just an aside, for a moment when you started, I thought I was speaking with Colin Croft. You know, that cricket commentator, for a moment.
Yes, it sounds a little like that. Yes, but an ICANN meeting, you know, I say to stakeholders that the way you prepare for an ICANN meeting is like how you would prepare for Carnival. You go to the gym, you take your vitamins, because it's going to take some energy from you. Typically at an ICANN meeting, there are about 10 to 12 sessions taking place simultaneously. So you could easily find yourself attending a session on DNS security, and as soon as that's finished, going 2 floors up to attend a session on personal data privacy, data protection, configuration of root servers, many different topics. So the idea is to attend an ICANN meeting. First of all, there is a big sharing of information. You are able to interact with others who are facing some of the same problems that you may be facing in your internet configuration, and you're able to learn from them and solve problems which would make the internet a safer place and a more interesting place for stakeholders. So we have representatives of different groups at ICANN meetings, the representatives of the governments of the world, representatives from the technical community, representatives from ISPs, representatives of end users, representatives of the academic community, because anyone who relies on a stable and secure internet would have an interest in what is going on at ICANN. So Chanel will be a part of a group known as the Next Geners, university students who ICANN is paying an airfare and accommodation for to attend these ICANN meetings. Each of them will have to make a presentation on something that's happening in their country. Chanel will be making presentations on cybersecurity and how the domain name system and ICANN have an impact on secure transactions in Jamaica. So it should be a very interesting experience for her and very beneficial to Jamaica and the wider Caribbean as well.
Are we likely to hear or see any presentation that would help us to better fortify our systems in terms of cybersecurity in light of what has happened at the 50-year-old Stocks and Securities Limited firm here in Jamaica? Or are you going to? Oh, I thought you were going to leave that one outside the off stump.
No.
You're taking it on.
I can play Google.
You can play googly.
So the thing about it is, this was actually the focus of Chanel's presentation and part of the focus of my presentation. We looked at what ICANN has been doing to mitigate against attacks on what we call the DNS, the domain name system.
Yes.
Chanel presented on that, and she gave some insight and some guidance as to best practice, that individuals and companies can follow to stay safer. When I made my presentation, I also spoke about something called DNSSEC, Domain Name System Security Extensions. And what this does is it adds a layer of security on the DNS so that when you translate a name to a number, there is less of a likelihood that there will be something called a man-in-the-middle attack. Because what happens is when you type in a domain name and that domain name has to be converted into an IP address, that is an opportunity for a hacker to break in and give a fake IP address and direct you to a site which looks like your bank site or which looks like the site of your financial institution and can lure you into giving your credentials for login.
Stick a pin there, as my mother would say. One moment, please. Let's pick it up at that pin, as in personal ID number, right after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
In case of an earthquake and the place starts shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. I'm Dervan Malcolm. If you're just joining us, we're sharing some good news as we are learning from the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, that they are continuing to foster leadership and innovation. Case in point, this international internet forum, which will have as among the attendees a UCC student. And if you'd been listening, then you would have heard she's Chanel McPherson, and she's among 12 specially selected participants for it's properly called the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, that's capital ICANN, annual forum in Cancun, Mexico from March 11 to 16. And it's the Next Gen at ICANN program of the ICANN 76 Community Forum, which will feature both face-to-face and virtual participation. Now, going to the break, the other of our guests, Mr. Albert Daniels, Senior Manager Stakeholder Engagement, Caribbean for ICANN, was giving us an example in relation to the PIN, for example, and so just sort of guarding against the PIN being taken for a spin.
That's right.
Yeah.
What we were saying essentially is that we have to find ways to make the internet a more secure place. And one of the technologies that Chanel will be learning about in the ICANN forum in Cancun, Mexico, is something called DNSSEC, the Domain Name System Security Extensions. And this adds a layer of security on top of what we already have as an internet, so that when you type in your username and password, there is an element of validation, there's an element of encryption that makes the internet a safer place. But for this to work, ICANN has to sign the domain zone at the top level. All the web service providers along the chain also have to sign respective parts, and eventually down to the country level, the internet service provider has to be allowing DNSSEC traffic to pass through their system, and also needs to be validating and authenticating DNSSEC traffic. So all of those pieces need to be in place, and one can learn about these things by participating in ICANN. ICANN has the ability to provide support for deployment of technologies like DNSSEC, so that it should be in use by your financial institutions, it should be in use by your ISPs, and you should ensure that when they go to their financial websites, that these technologies are deployed to make the internet a safer place.
Yes. And thank you very much, Mr. Daniels. Stay where you are. Let's bring Chanel McPherson back into the discussion. I would imagine at this stage, you are continuing preparations in terms of whatever presentations you'll be making or positions you'll be taking. How uniformed is, or how common are the issues across the region, across the Caribbean, as far as the internet and cybersecurity and related matters are concerned?
Well, thank you for asking. Well, you mentioned before in the current answer. In fact, my presentation is going to be on the impact of cybersecurity on Jamaica's banking system through domain name system abuse. But what I realized is that some of these common cybersecurity threats, they are happening through our domain system. And as Mr. Daniels had mentioned, DNSSEC, that's something that I'll be campaigning in Jamaica for some of our, well, not some, but all of our ISPs to jump on board with.
All internet service providers need to be on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
That system will mitigate these attacks. And he also mentioned the man in the middle. That person that's just waiting for someone to enter their details on our website so that they can harvest the information and use it for their own intention. So I'm hoping that once I get to ICANN, I'm surrounded with all these top-level cybersecurity personnel. They'll be able to teach me and break down these things in regards to the DNSSEC, so that I may come back to Jamaica and run this campaign, because this is something that we need in our region, and to create awareness as well where DNSSEC is concerned.
I see. And as it is now, you're pretty much still studying, right?
Yes, I am.
How far advanced are you? What are you? Just remind us the area that you're covering.
Yes, I'm covering. Well, I'm a first-year student. I'm in my second semester, and I'm doing a BSc Networking and Cybersecurity.
And how is that going?
It's going pretty good. I'm able to connect with a network of people that have gone before me, and I've been getting the resources and the help from majority of the faculty staff there at UCC. So I'm on my way.
Excellent, excellent. And I hear you're very involved as well, aren't you, Chanel?
Yes, I am.
You're also a founder of Code Ed.
Yes, I believe Mr. Stafford Grant was on your program. I'm not sure if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'm also one of the founders of Code Ed, in which we teach children.
Oh yes, Stafford Grant. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Right,
Mm-hmm,
right. You would have remembered.
Mm-hmm.
So in association with the ex-servicemen and women of Jamaica, we teach kids how to do coding, and that has been, we're currently in our third batch of students, and they're doing exceptional. I'm just hoping that more parents will get on board and allow their kids to learn these technologies.
Yes.
So that's where we're heading. We're in that era.
Yes, indeed, in that zone. And so now, thank you, Chanel. Stay where you are. Albert Daniels, in terms of the event itself, and ICANN in particular, how can we follow the progress of an organization like ICANN? Where can we turn to get the kind of data, the kind of information that would help to put us in a better place in terms of our level of awareness where cybersecurity and general internet use are concerned?
That's an excellent question. And the first place that you would go is our ICANN website. It's very easy to get to, ICANN.org, ICANN.org. And at the top right of that page, there is a search bar where you can search for any of the terms that you've heard us mentioning. Now, with regard to the meeting in Cancun, if you go to meetings.icann.org, you will see a big banner across the top which relates to Cancun, Mexico, and that will take you to all of the details about the Cancun meeting. It's a community forum from the 11th to the 16th of March, and 2 weeks before the meeting actually starts, we have something called Prep Week. You can register for Prep Week and you can attend virtually, even though you are not as Chanel to be going in face-to-face. And you can follow a series of sessions which would give you an idea of what is likely to happen at the ICANN meeting, what the sessions are going to be like, what are the topics that are going to be discussed, and how you can actually prepare for the ICANN meeting itself. And then 2 weeks later, the ICANN meeting will actually take place, and you can follow that as well virtually, even though you're not traveling to Cancun, Mexico. ICANN also has another important web system called ICANN Learn. You get to it by typing in learn.icann.org. You register and create your free account, and you can take many different courses on any of the topics being discussed at ICANN. Our main interest is in getting the voice of Caribbean territories like Jamaica represented within the ICANN community, because it is in the ICANN community that policies which determine the type of internet that we get are actually developed and decided upon. And the ICANN organization only executes those policies. Stakeholders from across the globe, representatives of business, government, technical users, security, academia, and so on, they discuss at ICANN meetings what sort of internet we should have. So it's important to know what is being discussed in ICANN, make your inputs, express your concerns, so that the internet that you get is an internet that serves your needs and one where your concerns have been considered. ICANN has the Next Gen program for university students from any university across the globe, for students in the ages 18 to 30 years old, and where we pay for your airfare and your accommodation to attend an ICANN meeting that's taking place in your region. Cancun is part of Latin America and the Caribbean. It's in our region, so we get some priority seats. But we also have another program called the Fellowship Program, where anyone, regardless of their age, above the age of 21, can apply to attend an ICANN meeting. If you're working in some related field, it doesn't have to be IT, it could be intellectual property, it could be business. If you're working in a field and you feel that what is happening at ICANN is something important to bring back to your country, you apply for the fellowship program. The application for the next one is going to open on the 1st of March and end on the 31st of March. So everyone is welcome to go to that same website, icann.org, and just do a search for fellowship, and you will see all of the details of the fellowship program. We cover airfare, we cover accommodation, and you get a small stipend, and you get to contribute to policy development, which will determine the type of internet that you end up having that we use every day for work and for social activity.
We want to encourage more of us to go to icann.org, and that can is spelled with two N's, ICANN.org. Hold it right there. I think I heard Chanel McPherson wanting to come in a short while ago. Chanel?
No, I mean, Mr. Daniels already touched on the point. I just wanted to let the students know that it's not just for IT or technical students. Whatever subject, once you have an interest, then you should apply. Just reiterating that.
Mm-hmm. And that's a timely reminder as well. Well, we want to wish you well, perhaps at some point closer to March 11 to 16 period there. We hope to possibly, I don't know, we perhaps could discuss off air, make a link or two from Jamaica to Cancun, Mexico, just to see how things are going at the event. So perhaps after the break, yeah, we can discuss that off air to see what's possible, because we want to follow.
I really want to thank the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
and all of the other academic institutions, that are coming together to make this possible and to get involved in ICANN, because without them, I would not have had the opportunity to come here and share all of this important information with you.
Yes, we join you in thanking them for the role that they have played and are playing. Thank you very much, Albert Daniels. It's been a pleasure, and all the very best. And thank you too, Chanel McPherson. We wish you a safe journey along with Albert Daniels and the others heading to Cancun, Mexico, plus those who will be watching online. Thank you very much. We wish you success. Your success is our success, so we can't wish you for anything less.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm, for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:01 on Power 106.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
It's riveting, thought-provoking, and interesting. It's the Morning Agenda on Power 106 FM. Weekdays, 7:15 to 9 a.m. Join Jody and Quarry on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Sanjay Lewis on Wednesdays and Thursdays, while they alternate on Fridays, as they set your agenda and break down the issues, and keep you informed on what matters to you most. It's the Morning Agenda on Power 106 FM. Weekdays, 7:15 to 9 a.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. And at this time, we're delighted to have joining us the University of the West Indies' Registrar and Chief Administrative Officer, Dr. Maurice D. Smith. Good to finally talk with you, Dr. Smith. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dervan. Good afternoon, and certainly good afternoon to all your listeners. It's my pleasure. I'm doing well, just getting out of our board meeting that's been going on since 9 o'clock, but such is the needs of the beast, and so we work hard for the betterment of our students.
Well, that's quite evident, and it's been 75 years and counting, and this is a significant year, the 75th anniversary celebrations of the University of the West Indies.
Yes.
How does one prepare for such a tremendous milestone? I mean, what have you been doing so far, and give us an idea of what is to come, please.
Wow, that's a mouthful. So we are tremendously proud of our heritage. So as you would have correctly said, the University of the West Indies is 75 years this year, and let me hasten to say for the benefit of our listeners, when we talk about the UWI, we're not talking about the university at Mona. Mona is but one of 5 campuses. So we have Mona in Jamaica, we have Cave Hill in Barbados, we have St. Augustine in Trinidad, we have the Open Campus, which does much of our online delivery, and we have 5 Islands, which started in 2019, that's based in Antigua. And so we have just about 50,000 students across 17 countries in the English-speaking Caribbean. So to answer your question, we have been huddling as a small central planning committee since December of 2021.
Oh, really?
Yes, because the university is a huge creature, and so we have been working hard at looking at programs and events, identifying funding and sponsorship support, looking at a number of activities, be they academic, religious, social, cultural, developmental. So we have a whole raft of programs that we have been rolling out since the start of this calendar year, and we'll be celebrating right up to the end of 2023. And so much has been happening. So we've been huddling as a cross-campus team, individuals within and without the university that we've been knocking heads together, coming up with ideas, working through the finer details of what's to happen and how we should deliver these products in a manner that's befitting of a regional institution such as the UWI.
And there are so many stakeholders, so many interests. I'm just wondering, how do you manage all of these? Go ahead.
So we have organized ourselves into small teams. So we have each campus has a planning committee, and the chair of those committees, campus registrars, who are the operational heads on those campuses, they or their designates represent the campuses on the central planning committee. And on the central planning committee, we also have individuals within and without the region, and we have a number of subcommittees. So we have marketing communications as one subcommittee, we have programs and events as another, we have finance as another, and we have resource mobilization. And so alumni, sponsors, faculty, staff, students, administrators, people who are currently within the university space and those who are former leaders of the university, all of us have been working closely through these thematic working groups to mobilize resources and to put together a program and to roll out these activities in a way that is celebratory, but in a way that positions the university as a critical part of the development of the Caribbean. And so the university has a vision for the Caribbean. The university is part of the strategy of Caribbean development, and certainly the university provides leadership because we see ourselves as a most important instrument of Caribbean development and revitalization. And so we take our role very seriously. To that end, we have been working assiduously to host a full suite of programs that represents and that captures each of those pillars.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell us with respect to those events or observances, ceremonies, etc., that we can look forward to? Or is there a website we could go to, or a YouTube channel to keep up? Because there are those of us who who are past students of the institution. You know, sometimes I forget that I actually went to university.
I understand. I tell you this. When we had, so we've had 3 regional events so far. So we had the media launch, which took place on Friday, January 6th. And then we had Jamaica, we had UE Day, which took place on Saturday, January 7th. Mm-hmm. Now, that is of significant importance because the University Council first met on January 7th in 1947. And so we've been around since 1948, and that's where we have a cohort of students, 33 students, 10 women and 23 Caribbean.
Hold on, we want to hear those early stats. I don't know if you could go back to your original position or make sure you're near a window or a door. That might help the signal.
Are you hearing me better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. So in 1940, comes first in 1947, January 7th. So in 1998, we had 33 students who started then University College of the West Indies, 10 women and 23 men. And those 33 students were enrolled to study medicine. So on January 7th this year, we had UAD, and this was where we had proclamations of our charter right across the region: Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, Barbados, Belize, Bermuda, Cayman, Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Vincent, the Bahamas, all over. So January 7th is So on January 7th this year, we had Proclamation Day of UII, where presidents and governors general across the region gave an official proclamation that January 7th was...
I saw those pictures, yes.
Yes, UID. Mm-hmm. On January 8th, Sunday, January 8th, we had an interfaith convocation ceremony service in the chapel.
Losing a bit of what you're saying now, Dr. Smith. Hello? Let's see if we can get a better connection with Dr. Smith. If you're just joining us, this is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. At this time, it's the story of the 75-year-old University of the West Indies. That's what we're discussing, and the range of observances and happenings to mark the occasion. Quite instructive, though, to look at the numbers of 1948. The University College, as it was then called, the University College, had 33 students, 10 women and 23 men. Obviously, more men were being educated than women, and we all have an idea of what would have created this scenario in terms of equality or lack thereof, etc. So that those numbers are quite instructive. And as we wait to rejoin Dr. Maurice Smith, the registrar at the University of the West Indies, we can also share. All right, just when you were getting to all those fun things and exciting and significant observances, the phone system decided to play games. Sorry about that.
My apologies. Is this better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay,
and
great.
You were at 1948.
Right. So in 1948, we had our first cohort of 33 students enrolling to study medicine. We had 10 men and 23 women from across the region, and they began their sojourn in what was then called the University College of the West Indies. So January 7th for us is of significant importance. And so governors general and presidents across the region proclaimed January 7th as UA Day, and that happened in Anguilla and Antigua, Barbados, Bermuda, Belize, Cayman, Dominica, St. Vincent, Jamaica, right across the region. Mm-hmm. And on Sunday, January 8th, we had our interfaith convocation service that was, and the sermon was delivered by suffragan bishop, Canon Minor. So it was a fantastic sermon. The university singers were in their usual glory, and so those were the activities that took place in January to kick off the activities for the year. But then there are different activities on each campus, and right across the year, we'll have Jubilee Week, we'll have special sightings of the university singers. We'll have academic symposia. We'll have conferences. We'll have galas. We'll have games. We'll have cricket matches. We'll be having all sorts of activities to cater to the diversity of peoples within the Caribbean society. And so we are particularly grateful for the kind of support we have been getting. And in fact, this Friday, February, I don't know the date, February 3, is the inaugural Rex-Nettleford lecture, distinguished lecture, and that's going to be delivered by Professor Orlando Patterson. That takes place at the regional headquarters, and that's being sponsored by NCB Foundation. So right across the region, every single country in which there is a UWI presence, there will be activities, tree planting ceremonies, community outreach projects, you will got talent, cook-off, all grand bazaar, sport, inter-campus games, a number of activities will be taking place right across the region in observance and celebration of UE 75.
Sorry, go ahead.
You had asked about our website, so www.edu/75, www.uwi.edu/75. On our website is every single thing that I've talked about and more, explaining to and inviting members of the public to come on board and to share with us in this momentous occasion.
Is there a legacy project or some other form of recognition, tangible recognition of this milestone, 75th anniversary?
Well, quite a number. Again, on our website, we are celebrating 75 unsung university heroes that have been absolutely fantastic in their shaping and crafting the UWI as we know it today. So quite a number of Jubilee Week. So there's quite a number of activities and quite a number of projects that will be held in celebration of the occasion.
Yes, and I have to convey my own congratulations to the university. All right, let's just take this break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee. Yes, it's me, Earthquake. I come in Tuesday around 10." No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, hover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without air. Drop, hover, hold on.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
You are an exporter, helping to elevate the face of our international trade. But in order to do that, and all the other tasks on your list, you need someone that understands you. We know that finding adequate collateral as a SME can sometimes be challenging, which is why we've partnered with our friends at JMB to bring you the Exim Export Guarantee to give you that extra collateral support where you may need it. Call Exim Bank to find out more about the Exim Export Guarantee. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
So apart from my time at the University of the West Indies, something stood out for me. Long and short of it, I didn't go to graduation for whatever reason. I think it was just maybe work or something like that. Sounds crazy, right? But I didn't pick up my degree until 10 years after leaving university. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. 10 years. But hold on, the story doesn't end there. But I went straight to the registrar's office, I think.
Yes.
And let me tell you, all I did was to present my ID. This is 10 years after graduating. Yes. I presented my ID, and in less than a minute, the young lady came back around with the degree.
Well, we do keep we do a good job of keeping our records. You do have a unique identification number. That number is never duplicated. So once you present, we can locate you by your ID number. Well, your ID number will give us all the particulars about the individual. And so once you present your ID number, you're good to go.
Yeah, that has stayed with me, and it will never be erased. So, so now let's get a move on. In terms of, is this an all year celebration, or is it that you
All
started
year.
all year?
All
Okay.
year, from January 1 right back to December 31, 2023. All year, every university campus right across the region.
That's quite something. That is quite something. Well, look, we want to continue to play our part in getting the word out there and featuring individuals, institutions within the University of the West Indies.
Yes.
And so we're always prepared to play our part in that regard. So we want to give that commitment that if there's additional information, as information comes to hand, I know it's a dynamic operation, isn't it?
It is, because it is. So we and we're very grateful for the opportunity being afforded us today on both sides of the table for 106. So Dervan, we have quite a layered marketing strategy. So whereas we're talking about giving an overview of US 75, and by the way, the theme for the year is rooted, giving homage to from whence we have come, our rich heritage, the fact that we're steeped in Caribbean development, so it's rooted. We are ready. We are dealing with the issues of 2023 and beyond, and we are rising. We are on an upward climb to continuously improve and become better. So the theme for the year, rooted, ready, rising. So whilst we talk about that in a generic sense, we do also have communications products surrounding each of the regional and campus activities that will be hosted throughout the next 11 months. So you are affording us an opportunity. We are so grateful. We ask entrepreneurs who are willing to come on board and to invest and to be part of our signature collections. And, marketing opportunities are there. Investment opportunities are there. We have almost 50,000 students across the region and over 300,000 alumni. So opportunities are there. So we ask them to make contact with us at our website. I would have just given that information, and we have outlined for you the opportunities to get involved, so we can have the conversations going.
Yeah. You talk about rising. The brand continues to rise, doesn't it? Is it the top 1% group or something like that? Top
1.5% of universities in the world.
Outstanding. And no doubt that would have served to enhance the pull, the reach, the power of the University of the West Indies.
We have among our student population individuals who have come from over 33 countries, and the students and staff. And so we are very proud of the rich heritage and the fact that we are working together despite our differences in socioeconomic status and backgrounds and cultures and beliefs. The university is a rich space where we share ideas. We don't always agree, but that's fine. And we discuss and we debate and we explore ideas and we research and we teach and we give policy advice. It would be foolish of me. In fact, it would be remiss of me not to mention the support from our governments across the region. We would not have been able to arrive at this point had it not been for their continuous and faithful guidance and support. And so there will be opportunities across the year as well to thank the governments for their continued investment and advancement of the youth of life.
And what about the engagement of UE graduates in the diaspora? How is that being worked into?
Happy you asked that.
Yes.
Very happy you asked that. So the Toronto Gala is being rebranded. The New York Gala is being rebranded. We are working now to have an activity in South Florida, which we've never had one. We're organizing something in South Florida for our alumni there. We're also doing that for our alumni in London. And, so alumni right across the world. In fact, we've had so much interest coming from our alumni right across the world. That is really, really, really is encouraging. And so UETV, marketing communications, they are reaching out to us. We are reaching out to them. The conversations are going. They're getting on board. So they're providing support, not just in terms of financial investment and capital investment, but guidance and technical expertise, just to get the word out and just to get the different activities staged in a most meaningful way. And so there are many opportunities to continuously engage with our alumni who are right across. There's a Caribbean national, especially a Jamaican, in every country in the world. And so we have been reaching out to them. They have been reaching out to us, and the exchange thus far has been meaningful and rich.
Yeah, you've used the word opportunity or opportunities a few times, and it seems to me the moment is indeed pregnant with opportunity. Considering the milestone year that we're in, 75 years of the University of the West Indies, which how can graduates of the institution uh, uh, connect with the particular office? Is it would it be your office for? Let me tell you where I'm going. For example, graduates who would like to donate scholarships, or create some kind of a scholarship program, or add to the support system, or systems, not just in Jamaica, but right across the region.
So a number of avenues are available, Dervan. So our website, UII, www.uii.edu. We have a brand new website which was recently got a national award. So our website is one.
Oh, hold on! No, you can't just run past that one like that, Dr. Smith. Come on, that is news. That's a breaking story.
Right. So our webmaster, the Office of the University Chief Information Officer, and working with University Marketing Communications, and all our marketing communications professionals have been working together, and they did a fantastic job in redesigning our website. So it's much more chic, much more modern, much more contemporary. Lots of information is there. So www.uii.edu. Once you go there, you will see a plethora of images and visuals and a lot of information about the university, prospective students, current students, alumni, everybody get involved. So the website is but one avenue. They can make contact with us through our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter. They can go on. They can make contact with us through telephone numbers. So they can call the Office of Administration. They can call University Marketing and Communications. They can call the Institutional Advancement Division, Elizabeth Buchanan Hind, and her team.
Oh, I haven't seen her in a while.
She's doing so well. She's doing well. So Elizabeth is working hard.
Yes.
They are mobilizing resources, and they're doing a fantastic job in providing opportunities again for investors and alumni and sponsors to get on board, get involved, and be a part of the Diamond Jubilee celebration.
Yes, and we couldn't conclude without saying a word with respect to the late Ambassador Bernal leaving us within this time.
Yeah, we pay our respects to him this Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Union Chapel, Mona.
Mm-hmm. May his soul rest in peace and light perpetual shine on his face. Thank you very much. You've given us so much information, Dr. Smith, and information that has served to excite and tantalize and tease and just get us in the mood for a UE celebration. 75 years and counting.
Well, thank you, Dervan. We really, really appreciate it. We are grateful for the opportunity you have afforded us this afternoon. And again, we invite everyone to come on board. UE at 75, rooted, ready, rising. It's going to be a magnificent year.
That's right. And in this age of social media, I guess you have handles and hashtags and all of these things online. Well, let's leave it there for now. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Dr. Maurice D. Smith, Registrar, University of the West Indies, and Chief Administrative Officer Well done to you and the team. And remember, we're here and always happy to play our part in getting the word out as further developments emerge.
Great. Thank you so much, Dervan. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you too. You too. All the best. Take care. Dr. Maurice Smith, Registrar at the University of the West Indies and Chief Administrative Officer. There's more. In a few minutes, we are going to invite Mr. Nikoy Young, Acting Senior Director, Land Administration and Management, to join us. And this will be the topic of subdivision and part of land transfer. So you can stand by for that coming up. In the meantime, you know how much we appreciate you. Or as Tony Rebel would say, appreciate love. Inez Iona Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. To you too, Inez Iona Campbell, somewhere in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, candidate for the position of Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representative for the Southern United States. She's also on board. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Keep up the amazing work. You're very kind, Velta Wilson in St. Thomas. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon to you too. Thank you for tuning in. Enna Francis. Earl Allen has a lot to say. What's Earl Allen saying now? Do we have time? Let's check the clock. Earl Allen says, a very blessed good day to you, my ambassador, and all Power 106 FM family who's in class, and for those who are not in class yet. Brother Dervan, I'm trying to use your medium to help prevent some agents of the state from declaring a war in the Sunlight Street community. The police high command from the Kingston Western Police Division is planning a community treat sometime next month, and you have some agents of the state trying to destabilize the peace process behind the backs of the police high command. Well, you should report it to the police commissioner. Take it to the office of the police commissioner. They're using the darkness to perform their illegal activities on the people in the area. Last night, police and soldiers, these are allegations of kicking off people's doors for no reason, saying that the area was under SOE and no treat can keep them say so, says Earl Allen. Earl Allen, this is one country, one Jamaica. I remember I was in a Shakespeare play some years ago where there was a play within the play. There is no country within the country of Jamaica. One moment, please.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs-controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain?
I don't think this is his. These are his.
Caribbean, in association with
I don't think these are his. I think these are the general.
And Almighty
but maybe they're just looking at the, because we have done it a few times. They're thinking we would have it.
For persons overcoming pain,
we should have the number in the system. Hold on.
That affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson and host Alicia Taylor airs every Friday at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now, right here on Power 106 FM.
NLA and You during both sides of the story is brought to you by the National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Here. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. It's the last Tuesday in the month of January 2023, and it means time for the NLA and you, right here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. The subject this afternoon, well, subdivision, part of land transfer. Mr. Nicoy Young is eminently qualified. He's the acting senior director, land administration and management, and he's going to be joining us in just a moment. As we say, thanks to you, our faithful listeners, for joining us for another episode of the NLA and You. It's still a relatively new program here on Power 106 FM, sponsored by the National Land Agency, the NLA. Last month, we discussed the importance of tenancy and considering how property or land will be owned. On this week's edition of the NLA and You, we want to discuss the topics of subdivision and part of land transfers. We often hear about people having a large area of land and are desirous of subdividing or transferring a portion of that land to someone else. So let's find out how this is done right here on the NLA and You. As we said, Mr. Nicoy Young is eminently qualified. He's the acting senior director, Land Administration and Management Division. And it's a pleasure to have you joining us once again, Nicoy Young. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Thank you. And we should use the opportunity since, hold on. No, I think, have we wished you Happy New Year already? No, this is the first one because it's the last Tuesday in the month. Yes.
So I should also have said Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, let's get straight to it. We have a lot of ground to cover, literally and figuratively. Can you explain the difference, if any, between what is called part of land transfers and what is regarded as subdivision?
Okay. Well, let me start at the part of land transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're opting to transfer a part of a property, it is most times related to registered land. But let me lay this clearly. In Jamaica, we have both registered and unregistered land. In relation to part of land transfers, we are linking removing a portion of the land from what would have been in
the original
title, the parent title.
Okay.
That is for part of land transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in relation to subdivision application, so technically what I'm saying is that part of land transfers are limited to registered land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, subdivision applications, these are...
In other words, you couldn't just get up and start subdividing. You have to apply. You could. Oh.
You could, but whenever you're referring to part of land transfers, the land already have a title.
Okay.
But whenever you're going to referring to subdivision,
mm-hmm.
the land might be titled or unregistered. So the land might be registered or unregistered. It is not necessarily registered property because you do subdivide registered and unregistered land.
Got you.
So let me give you a picture on the subdivision side.
Mm-hmm.
Subdivision applications are made to the municipal corporation for the parish where the property is located. You have to retain the services of a commissioned land surveyor to prepare the subdivision plans. Now, a lot of Jamaicans are of the view that when a property is surveyed, it means that it has been subdivided. That is not correct.
Oh.
Subdivision is a specific process by the commissioned land surveyor in producing multiple plans and copies, and they'll pass them to the applicant or the person who requested the survey. And now you will have to submit the proof of ownership, tax certificate, and any other supporting document to the municipal corporation.
Okay.
The municipal corporation will then distribute these plans to the Chief Technical Director, National Works Agency, and to the government town planner, which is at NEPA. So it is a specific process that you engage in whenever you are opting for subdivision through the municipal corporation. And as I said, subdivision is applicable to both registered and unregistered land. The turnaround time for you to have a subdivision approved and have the lots released, if you have 0 to 9 lots, it's approximately 9 to 12 months. 10 lots or more, you're looking at 12 to possibly 24 months. So it does take some time.
So, in what instances may persons apply for part of land transfer versus a subdivision application?
Well, this is a unique question, if I can put it like that. Because whenever you're opting for part of land transfer, a subdivision application must also be done.
Oh.
So you can't elect for a part of land transfer without having subdivision approval accompanying the application. Because in essence, let's say I could use the human anatomy. If I wanted to, let's say there is a property called Dervan, and I want one of your leg to be lot 1, the other leg would be lot 2, and your upper body would be lot 3. I have to properly remove the leg. Meaning, I can't just use a machete to remove it. It is best that you have an appointment with the surgeon for the leg to be removed. In the same breath, you have to retain the services of a commissioned land surveyor for them to prepare the plans, lodge them with the municipal corporation, and that is the appropriate way of subdividing land. And as I said, once you are electing for a part of land transfer, you have to subdivide the property.
As a corollary to that or follow up, are subdivision applications only for developers?
No, they are not only for developers. They are for everyone who is seeking to subdivide or to remove a parcel from a larger parcel. And I could give you an example. Let's say I am living in a particular location. I got notice to quit, so I need to leave that area. And John Brown is going to sell me a portion of land, just a house spot. It is advisable that whenever you're purchasing, you purchase no less than 2 squares, if it is not part of an existing or an approved subdivision. Because if you purchase 2 squares or more, and you get a surveyor to survey that portion, you only have a survey diagram for that portion. It is not subdivided. Now, what is going to happen is that you will be in need of a certificate of title to show your ownership. And whether the land is registered or unregistered, you will need subdivision approval. And more so, if it is unregistered, you will have to now apply to the municipal corporation for the respective subdivision approval, having had the commission land surveyor prepare the subdivision. So once you are removing a smaller parcel from a larger parcel, subdivision approval is required.
Can you say a little more on that in terms of what is involved in the approval process and how it would affect the creation of the title?
Okay. The process is quite unique in the sense that when you have received the conditions of approval from the municipal corporation, you will have to now get that commission land surveyor to revisit the property to secure the release of the lots
That is a document that the municipal corporation will issue to you. Whenever you get the release, you will now use that document as part of your application for title. And remember, it is either that you're applying for a new title or you're applying for a part of land transfer from an existing title. So if the land had no title, you're applying to get a new title. But if you had part of land transfer, then you're applying to get a title out of an existing title. And why you have to get the release of the lot? So there are a lot of developments that you will see, and persons purchase lots, but they purchase the lot with the approval being had. The developer or the person who was selling the properties or the lots, they never got approval. And for you to get approval, they never got release of the lots. And for you to get the release of the lots, you need to comply with the conditions of approval that you signed to. Now, for you to get release, most times you'll have to put in water, sometimes a sewer system, roadway, paved road, and electricity. So unless you comply with these requirements, you will not get the release or the permission to remove lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, and thus for the persons who purchased in the development to get their title.
I see. Oh, I'm certainly learning a lot. In terms of the, can you explain now the difference between subdivision and Section 5 waiver under the Special Provisions Act?
Okay. Well, the subdivision approval or the process of subdivision is what I have been making reference to from the outset. Subdivision waiver under Section 5 of the Registration of Title, Cadastral Mapping, and Tenure Clarification Special Provisions Act is an option that we have been exercising to the benefit of parcel holders. However, there are specific ambits within which it can be granted.
Can't just be granted to any and anybody.
No, not like that. Now, remember I gave you the example of
the body
removing your leg. If the property was purchased recently, meaning less than 7 years have elapsed, then you are not able to apply for the waiver. So it means that the informal subdivision must be older than 7 years old. 7 years.
One moment. Tell us some more in a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Deposit we have insurance. It's an account that come with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead. No need to put your hands on your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, one room you can start it. Or throw a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JDIC is a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JDIC them protect me. Bank and building society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smartly. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me. Something black or a stepping stone.
You're listening to the NLA and you here on Power 106 FM, more precisely during both sides of the story. We've been discussing part of land transfers and subdivision applications with Mr. Nikoy Young. He's Acting Senior Director, Land Administration and Management at the National Land Agency, the NLA. And going to the break, I think you are on the subject of, it depends on the number of years, that Section 5 waiver under the Special Provisions Act.
I was making reference to the fact that the informal subdivision.
Uh-huh.
Now, the informal subdivision is not the process through which you retain the services of the commission land surveyor to prepare the subdivision documents which you lodge at the municipal corporation. It is where you just ad hoc survey a parcel or fence a parcel, and on that premise you have informally subdivided that portion.
Mm-hmm.
So once, for us to aid you with a waiver application, it must be established that the informal subdivision has been in existence for at least 7 years.
Oh.
What can you use to show that this is the case? Sometimes it's the purchase receipt that you have, or your sale agreement. It might be you got the property in a will, because remember, not all the time you get a property and it's because you purchased. Sometimes you get it via deed of gift, or you got it in a testament, a will. And some of the times you might even have surveyed the property. So you'll have an old survey diagram which is older than 7 years, and that will be adequate. But there are instances wherein persons are just living on the property, so they might have to provide us with an old utility bill, and we look at all the factors to see who would qualify. But for a person who purchased a property last year or got a property by way of deed of gift last year, they would not be able to approach us for a waiver. They would have to proceed through the municipal corporation.
I see. Now, what you've already said, notwithstanding, what would make me a candidate for this Special Provisions Act subdivision waiver? How would I qualify?
You would qualify once you fall within our project areas, because the area must be one of the Lambda project areas, which is technically, let me give you an extension. It would be St. Catherine, excluding Portmore, but Nagohead in St. Catherine is included. You would have Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, Portland, St. Mary, St. Thomas. And you have areas in St. Andrew, up Lawrence Tavern, Temple Hall. A few of those areas are part of our project area. So you would actually have to, so if you have your property in Halfway Tree, it wouldn't qualify, because Halfway Tree is not a part of the project area.
Yes.
Or on the boulevard per se.
Mm-hmm.
So once the property is part of the project area, and as I said earlier, the informal subdivision must be more than 7 years, and you have to have something to substantiate that that is the case.
Understandably so. Good. Thank you very much for that. Now then, here's a scenario for you. An elderly man who has children might want to share up land that he has had for years to his adult children who are currently living on the land. How can this man go about getting a waiver?
Well, the circumstances differ. It depends on a few factors. The adult children are living on the land. The better view is that they might have their independent portions. Even though it might not have been surveyed, they might have their imaginary lines or their wire fencing enforced.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the case, that would amount to informal subdivision.
Oh.
So once it's a case wherein persons are able to show that, well, I have been living here for years, and I know that my portion runs from this coconut tree to the mango tree to right that corner there, then that would amount to informal subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is a case wherein they are living on the land, and there is, let's say, a need for it to be structured, so they have no formal road access and the like, then we would recommend that they proceed through the municipal corporation, where they would have to put in their road infrastructure, because the intention is not for there to be this, I would say, disorganized step to development. So that would be a suggestion, but it really depends on whether the parties are able to establish that the informal subdivision is more than 7 years. But for this elderly man, if it is a case that he hasn't yet, the children are not yet living on the property, then they would have to opt for the traditional route of getting the commercial land surveyor to subdivide the property, apply through the municipal corporation. But if there is evidence that the informal subdivision is in existence, then once it's more than 7 years, we will be able to assist with a waiver.
Well, it is said that... Sorry, go ahead.
And the important thing is that whenever you're applying for a waiver, the property must be surveyed. And the survey diagram must be up to date. So if I surveyed the property in 1998, I have been living there when Jamaica qualified or went to the World Cup, and I still haven't got that title. In this year, 2023, I would have to get a surveyor's declaration, which is to have a commission land surveyor check the boundaries. And once that is, the boundaries are in order, they could give you a surveyor's declaration to proceed, and that would update the survey diagram for a further 7 years.
Is that the only document that would be required to support an application for a subdivision waiver?
Well, the survey, if the survey is of age, then that would be adequate along with the surveyor's declaration. And as I highlighted, the indenture, a copy of your receipt. And but for our regular clients who are coming in to us, these are the documents I would need, like the indenture, the receipt, perhaps a will, deed of gift, and the survey diagram, and or the surveyor's declaration. We have attorneys, we have clients who are attorneys, so they are aware of the standard that we expect from them. They have certain forms to complete, just the same.
Are there, as we get ready to wrap, are there any other areas that come to mind that, based on your experience and having this space to share information with the public, that you'd like to put out there? Any reminders, any notable suggestions or advice?
What I would do is just emphasize a few things.
Yes.
That when you have surveyed your property, that does not amount to subdividing the property.
Oh.
It is not subdivision. Subdivision is when you retain the commission land surveyor to prepare the subdivision plans, lodging them with the municipal corporation or the relevant municipal corporation, paying their fees, and then proceeding as per the instructions that they will provide. Now, importantly, a lot of persons will complain and say, I purchased this land years ago. They are not able to get a title because they haven't formally subdivided the property. And without formal subdivision, the title will not, the application will not receive approval. So these are some of the things that they have to bear in mind. And also, you have to be aware of the type of property that you are purchasing. Because if you purchase land that is belonging to the government, even though it is saying that Dervan is alleging to be the owner, you'll have a problem. So it makes sense for you to check with the National Land Agency to see who is really the owner before you proceed along this line. And as we have said, we are aware that a title is very important. We ask that persons educate themselves as best as possible. We always recommend that you have a little consultation. Consult with an attorney to get the best information. Call the National Land Agency for us to provide you with the relevant updates, so you'll be in a position to make the best decision possible.
Very well put. Let's get some contact details out there now for those who have been listening, who would like to follow through or follow up on these matters. Let's remind them of the contact particulars, Mr. Young.
We can be reached by telephone at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. We also can be reached by WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. And we also have live web chat, which is at www.nla.gov.jm.
That's the one where somebody supposedly pops up, the image of pops
Yes,
up on the screen and asks, "How can I help you today?" That kind of thing.
that kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
We also have our social media, Facebook and Instagram at National Land Agency. We also have YouTube, National Land Agency, Jamaica. So we are very much accessible, and in this age of smartphones, we are readily accessible and readily available to assist you.
Yeah. Well, we want to congratulate you and thank you for your continued service to Jamaica in this field, because certainly we have a lot, as I said earlier on, pun intended, a lot of ground to cover. this the a lot of information is out there, but we want to be careful that we don't just gobble up any source of information or any old information. You want to make sure you get it from the source, like the National Land Agency, for example. Hence this feature, the NLA and you. We want to thank you once again, Nicole Young. It's been a pleasure. And we'll catch you again, all things being well, next month, which is a couple of hours away, a few hours away.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, too. Good afternoon. Thank you. Take care. Nicole Young, Acting Senior Director, Land Administration and Management at the National Land Agency, the NLA, ending this month's edition of the NLA and You. During both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. We've been talking about part of land transfers and subdivision applications and related matters. And we thank Nico Young, Acting Senior Director, Land Administration and Management, for his service in this regard, along with, naturally, the other members of the team at the NLA. And it's a very, very gifted team, very talented and dynamic team. There's more after the break, but in the meantime, thanks once again to the NLA, the National Land Agency, for this month's edition of the NLA and You.
NLA and You, during both sides of the story, was brought to you by the National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Under the law. Know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. Under the law.
Brought to you today by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Grow smart, eat smart.
Farmers, protect against the threat of prey larceny. Maintain regular farming operations as best as possible. Move your animals to an area where they can be monitored on a regular basis. Lock away all farming equipment. Issue a receipt when you sell produce. And ensure your registration with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is up to date. If you see any suspicious activity on your farm, immediately contact your local police station or Crime Stop at 311. A safety message from the Prey Larceny Prevention Coordination Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries.
Morning, Mr. Robin.
Good morning, Arnold. How is everything?
Not so good, sir.
Oh, what is it?
I have a little situation, sir.
Well, talk up now, man.
It is me go them,
This is
sir.
4:15.
I'm ready for sell. 10 of them go missing. I'm go to the station to report it.
You mean the goats that you have roaming the streets?
We can't do no better, sir. The goat them have to eat and plenty grass upon the road. The police said them can't help me because me no have no way of proving said them belong to me. Them never tag or nothing like that, and me never did register with RADA neither.
So you see the problem, Arnold. You leave the goats on the road and put your investment at risk. And if you had registered them and updated the registration with your extension officer regularly, Him could assist you to verify the type and amount of animals you have.
You can't help me, sir.
You must start the process by helping yourself. Get your animals off the road and under control. It's not like back in the days when we never had such a big teething problem. You have to invest in proper housing and cut grass and carry to feed your goats. Get them tagged and go get registered with RADA.
Very sound advice, Mr. Robin. Farmers should consider security as an important component of their business to prevent loss. If animals have no unique markings or tags, you have no real means of proving ownership. Every person carrying on the trade or business of growing and rearing agricultural produce must become registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. That's how it is under the law.
Brought to you today by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Grow smart, eat smart.
Join us Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Polo 106 FM for Under the Law.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness. Your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 876-922-41125 or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Only on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:04. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:04. And the time just changed. I started out telling you it's 4 minutes past. It's now 5 minutes past. 现在TDN 了4点05分. Now 5 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And just clearing a few messages before we go to our next guest. We thank you for your indulgence. We've had a lot of ground to cover this afternoon, and there's more. This is Meyer Buck. Hello to Meyer Buck. Thanks for watching. Nigel McCrae, good afternoon. Mariella Abrams, hello to you. Sonia Henderson McCulloch, former teacher at Calabar High School. I know that name very well. And Althea McCalla, good afternoon to you. Ricardo Porteous in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, shout out to all the listeners from across the world. And he greets us as well. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Rohan Villiers says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Rohan. Hubert Fowlin is watching as well. Welcome, Hubert Fowlin. So too is Audrey Smith in Southampton, England. A very pleasant day to you, Mr. Dervan Malcolm, and your listening audience, says Hubert Fowlin. Many happy returns, Hubert Fowlin. Audrey Smith says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners. Happy new month to everyone listening and watching from Southampton. Thank you very much. Hello to all the Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Southampton, in England. Lyria Baker is on board. Was it Lyria who had a birthday yesterday? I think so. Happy birthday again, Lyria Baker. Robledo Black Pearl Michelle, good afternoon to you. Luther Foster, hello. Elaine E.T. Thompson, good to have you on board. Junior Jabari, Faye Weller, good afternoon, Faye Weller. Hello to Wayne Golding Senior, CDJD. Good to have you on board, and happy, I'm sure I sent a birthday greeting to your wife. Happy birthday to her again. Happy belated birthday. Grace Ann Dixon is watching. Exley Montgomery is also on board. And let's go down the line. Enna Francis, Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon. I think we have said hi to Velta Wilson already. Norman Hines is in St. Thomas saying, blessed afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners to you too. Norman Hines. Erin Blevins, hello to you. Velta Wilson says, thanks for having LAMP. I have business with them and it is going for years. I've been helped with the information he has provided. I'm sure Nicoy Young would be happy to hear that commendation. Thank you very much. Let's hop over to YouTube and see what's been happening over there. Asha Ash in London, England says, hi, Mr. Dervan, good afternoon. Just checking in. Have a nice day. Same to you, Asha Ash. Sean Chambers says, good afternoon, Uncle Dervan. To you too, Sean Chambers. Rosie's Kitchen and Natural Juices saying good afternoon from the United Kingdom. Good to have you on board somewhere in London. Good afternoon to you. And we now will clear a few of our WhatsApp messages before we go to our next segment, our next guest. So let's do WhatsApp messages right now. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon is tuned in. He says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and the Power 106 family. Keep safe, teacher. God's blessings I wish you, says Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. And also on board with us, Rohan Johnson of Atlas in Ocho Rios, Atlas Security. He says, big up to each and every one from across the world, tuning to Power 106 at this time, coming from Rohan Johnson, Atlas, Ocho Rios. Roy, how are you? Mr. Roy, Sir Roy, you Roy. Good afternoon to you. Good to see you online. Yes, we haven't been to that place. Well, I haven't been to that place in a couple of days. It will be 2 months. Yes, I think so. I had a change in arrangements effective the 2nd of December. And so the 2nd of January was 1 month, and the 2nd of February in a couple of days would make it 2 months. But it's good to hear from you, Roy, otherwise known as Wisey. Good afternoon to you, Wisey. And Driver in America, thanks for the reminder. Johnny Cash, that's the artist I was reaching for, Johnny Cash. And the village, Horace Spider, or Spider, otherwise known as Horace, says, did the FFC, there's no FFC, you mean FSC, did the FSC, all right, hold on, where did this start? We have messages, unread messages from yesterday, and then there are new messages for today. Or let's see if it's the same messages. Yes, looks like the same messages. Right, so it says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Want to tell me that the MP that responsible for Southwest St. Andrew don't see the condition of Spanish Town Road from Mayfield Avenue to 3 miles. The road is riddled with trenches across and potholes. If Miss Brown Burke can manage the job, it's best to, or can't manage the job, it's best to just give it up, and no one is saying anything about the road. Nelson Road was in a bad condition too, but it's been fixed. If you ask me, I think the future for Southwest St. Andrew looks dim to me. Again, if she can't manage the job, give it up and don't let people suffer. This was Portia Simpson Miller's area. Thank you for your messages, Spider. And then he asks the question, did the FSC break into the Ministry of Finance at night and hide the report? That could be what happened. That's why no one knows that it was there or knew that it was there. Maybe if you ask, they might say that's what happened. I think they need to fix the locks, says Spider. Precious in New Monkland, St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. To date, no one has come to fix my electricity wire that was torn down by workmen working on the road. Kindly ask Mr. Shaw how I can be assisted. This is from November 16, 2022. We're forwarding your message to Stephen Shaw. I think we have done that before, haven't we? We're doing it again. So we just sent the message. Good afternoon, Mr. Shaw. Please see above message. Okay, please keep us posted. Who was that again? Precious in New Monkland, St. Thomas. Keep us posted. Thanks for reminding us that situation is yet to be addressed. Thank you. Going down the line, Patriotic Jamaican in New York sent us a message yesterday. He says, Mr. Malcolm, to piggyback on what the caller from Florida was saying, the people who lead Jamaica are either among the most corrupt in the world or they are the stupidest people on the planet. For them to always come out and blurt out that they found some guns at the wharf before quietly investigating to find the sender and recipient is just plain dumb. And they do this every time. They can't seem to learn. It's the same way they come on the radio and announce when and where curfews will be held so the criminals get a leg up on them. That makes no sense whatsoever, Mr. Malcolm. The people who call themselves leaders of Jamaica can't be that dumb. So I put it down to nothing but unadulterated corruption, says Patriotic Jamaican in New York. No doubt they'll tell you otherwise. Patriotic Jamaican in New York.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
All you'll ever need to know
These are
about
live.
agriculture in the 21st century, packed into one program.
Okay.
Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, because they normally would buffet the area or. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's one of those annoying things. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4h16. Tiensai, TDN le Si Dien Shi Liao Fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the students listening to us, all the schoolers from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also manage to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's go to our next interview and let's give you some context here first of all. For 24 years, the Sagicor Sigma corporate run has brought corporate Jamaica and individuals together for a shared purpose to give back and make a difference in the lives of Jamaicans. In the spirit of camaraderie, since 1999, this philanthropic road race has donated more than $550 million to 25 beneficiaries. Did you hear that? Since 1999, Sagicor Sigma corporate run has donated more than $550 million to more than 25 beneficiaries, primarily in Jamaica's health and education sectors. This year, in celebration of the 25th anniversary milestone, the Sagicor Sigma Run, dubbed the Legacy Run, aims to raise $75 million in aid of the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, Pediatric Unit, and the Hope Brooks Painting Studio at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. To encourage more of us to register for, and by the way, we have seen people preparing, and we know they're preparing for Sagicor Sigma Run. We see you in the mornings, we see you in the afternoons, going into the evening. We see you. So we know you are preparing. So to encourage more people to register for the Sagicor Sigma Run and to donate to the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run, they're seeking to raise $75 million for beneficiaries. The beneficiaries are the University Hospital of the West Indies Pediatric Unit and the Hope Brooks Painting Studio at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. I think that that studio was damaged by fire. I seem to recall. I think so. So let's get straight to it. Our guest has been waiting patiently. She's marketing manager, Sagicor Investments for the Sagicor Group. Good afternoon to Regine Campbell. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM.
And thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Let's get to it. I think I've managed to contextualize this interview by sharing some of the background information. Now we are anxious to get a sense of whether there is a buzz. You know, the talk on the street, it have a buzz. So let us hear how things are going so far as we get ready for Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run.
Well, I can definitely share with you that per the same talk on the street, Sagicor Sigma Run is going to be buzzy
Yes.
this year. And this year we're hosting the run on Sunday, February 12th. Here in New Kingston, we run off in New Kingston on Knotford Boulevard, and we end up by Emancipation Park, where there's lots of fun activities for families to participate in. as we wind down the Sigma Run festivities, lots of entertainment and prizes. So it's going to be buzzy. It's have a buzz.
So, for those who have never participated for whatever reason, how can they register to participate in the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run?
Well, whether or not you have participated or before or not, I would love to be able to. I'm happy to be able to share that all you need to do is go to SagicorSigmaRun.com and register. Registration has actually been extended to tomorrow, February 1st. It was supposed to close off last Friday.
Oh, I was wondering about that. Okay.
Yes, it was supposed to close off, but because of an overwhelming response from the public and from corporate Jamaica, we have been asked to hold over the registration period, and we've said yes. We're very excited to include everybody as we all get back on the road here in 2023, and we can all be a part of this 25th anniversary legacy run, because it's 25 years of Sagicor Sigma corporate run, and having raised over $500 million for charities, we see the impact that this run has on Jamaica, on our children, on education, on the health sector. And so we want to make sure to give everybody an opportunity to participate.
Yes, in fact, I believe we were a part of the first run at Power 106. I think we covered it. It was in downtown Kingston.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I remember it. So now, what's the cost for those who are not sure? What's the cost to participate in the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run?
Well, our costs are in two categories.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our individual category and our group category. Now, in the individual category, the cost is $2,500 to participate. That's $2,500 to participate. And if you are a serious runner, an avid sports person who wants to get your time and make sure that you run off ahead of the rest of the crowd in order to not be humbugged as you run, you can get a preferred start for $5,000. High school and college students, so whatever your age, want to register in high school or college,
yes,
your cost is $1,500. And because this is not just a Sagicor Sigma run where we run or just walk, but we also invite our wheelchair participants to come out and share time with us, and that cost is $2,000. So that's all for the individual segment. For the group segment, or non-corporate groups, which is 15 to 25 persons. So if you have 15 to 25 of your closest friends and family who want to participate with you, it's $60,000. And the maximum limit on that group is 44 persons. So anybody over the 25 persons will pay $2,500. Or small corporate group, which is 45 to 55 persons, it's $125,000, and the maximum limit on the group is 124 persons. So the group limit, anybody above the group limit of 55 up to a maximum of 124 persons will pay $2,500. And for our large corporate groups, that's 125 persons or more, it's $250,000. So that's the breakdown of our individual and group costs.
Wow, you have it all worked out, don't you? All right, question. Will it be a full in-person event?
Yes, it will be a full in-person event. We are returning to our original race route. And when I say original, I don't mean downtown, which is the very original race route.
Yes.
Instead, we're returning to our pre-COVID race route. And so all the experiential activities along the route will be there. So when you come out, you will have different things to see and experience as you run along the route. We start, as I said, on Knotford Boulevard. We go along Trafalgar Road to Waterloo Road, left onto West Kings House Road, then onto Constant Spring Road, then left onto Hope Road, right onto Winchester Road, right onto Ruthven Road, left onto Halfway Tree Road, and then we finished at Oxford Road by Emancipation Park.
It sounds like that route. I think I've done that route. Yes, I've done that route a couple of times.
Well, you sound like somebody who would be in our preferred status. It's like, and you know, for persons who are well experienced runners, but and even if you're not a well experienced runner, you can participate virtually because we still have the
Oh, I
virtual
thought that went out with the slowing down, for want of a better term, of COVID-19.
Well, we have found that there's still persons who want to participate or still be a part of Sigma Run who want to participate by paying the money, but they may not be here on the day and whatever. So one of the things that COVID did for everybody in the world is allow for more virtual participation in activities, and so you can still register and participate virtually for $2,500. To do so, you can register at runningeventsja.com.
Right. And if you're unable to run, I beg your pardon, if you're unable to register for the run, there are other ways to contribute. You've just pointed out there's the online there. Yes, but then are there other windows of opportunity to contribute to the cause?
Most definitely. If you neither walk, run, wheel, or come out virtually and participate, there are other ways to donate to the cause. You can pay a check over to Sagicor Foundation Jamaica. We do accept checks, and your donation will be received. You you have the opportunity to do a direct deposit to Sagicor Foundation Jamaica. Our account number is 550-290-7486. That's 550-290-7486, and it's a Sagicor Bank account. You can donate using your credit card via the website that I mentioned before, which is SagicorSigmaRun.com. If you are a Sagicor Bank
Hold on. Don't move. Tell us about that right after this break, and then we wrap. One moment, please. Listeners, it's all about the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run happening on Sunday, the 12th of February.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 29. 现在地点了5点加29分. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Yes, we did remind you earlier on, didn't we? Well, parents and guardians, do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. At this time, it's the story of Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run, and we're grateful to our guest, Regine Campbell, Marketing Manager, Sagicor Investments within the Sagicor Group, for spending some time with us and helping us to uh, ask questions and prepare our listeners who are going to be participating one way or another in the Sagicor Sigma Run for what is to come. So let's pick up on that point you were making as we went to the break, Regine Campbell.
Ways that you can help to make a difference by donating to Sagicor Foundation for the Sigma Run.
Yes.
And I was just about to mention that you can donate using our website at sagicorsigmarun.com. You can make a donation via credit card on the website. And if you have a Sagicor Bank credit card, whether it's a business or individual card, you can donate your points to Sigma Run. You can also make payments through PayPal or Gustavus or a wire transfer to the Sagicor Foundation. Or you can come by our Sigma Run Secretariat, which is on the ground floor of our Sagicor Life Head Office building, 28 to 48 Barbados Avenue here in New Kingston, and support our Sigma Run pop-up shop. Our pop-up shop has Sigma Run athletic wear and popular race shirts, and we have all the gear to get you started and get you on your way for Sigma Run. So there's a lot of very cute outfits, especially for our ladies out there.
I can well imagine. So, remind us, who are the patrons supporting the cause this year, please?
Well, this year we are so happy and we're so ecstatic to have Shirley Ann Fraser Price and Asafa Powell come back on board in this our legacy year. Come back on board to support the Sigma Run. They have been patrons in the past, and we are so lucky to have them back on board this year. So that's Shelley Ann Fraser Price and Asafa Powell.
All right. So, just remind us as we wrap, for more information, how can our listeners find out more about the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run, and indeed, how can they donate? There are those who, for whatever reason, won't participate directly in terms of the athletic component, but they would still want to make their contribution.
Definitely. So again, if you want to find out more information about Sagicor Sigma Run, you can go to our website, sagicorsigmarun.com. If it is that you want to make a donation, if you're not able to participate by physically being at the run, you can pay by check to Sagicor Foundation at direct deposit to Sagicor Foundation Jamaica, account number 550-907-486 at Sagicor Bank. You can donate using your credit card at sagicorsigmarun.com. You can donate your credit card points if you're a Sagicor Bank credit card holder, whether it's a business or individual card that you may have. You can donate your points. You can make payments through PayPal or Gustavus or a wire transfer to Sagicor Foundation. Or you can come by and support our Sagicor Sigma Run pop-up shop, which you can buy our athletic gear and popular race day shirts. So if you want to make a donation and have something, a souvenir or an athletic outfit to show for it, you can always support the Sigma Run shop.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing with us all about this very significant milestone run, the Sagicor Sigma 25th Legacy Run. It's been a pleasure, Regine Campbell. Thank you very much to you and the team as you continue in service to Jamaica and Jamaicans.
Thank you so much for having me, and we're looking forward to seeing you and the team.
Yes, indeed. I looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We just ended our interview with Regine Campbell, Marketing Manager, Sagicor Investments, part of the Sagicor Group. We have some more messages to clear now, so we're going to do that. And I think we have a call as well from Cuban in Georgia. Let's hear what Cuban in Georgia is saying. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. How are you, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
Yes, I'm doing well, although we're getting some Siberia weather this weekend. But
What, the dust?
getting our... Huh?
The dust?
No, the Siberia weather.
Mm-hmm.
The cold is coming down this weekend.
Oh, I get you. I get you. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But we are getting ourselves prepared and make sure that we stave off the cold this weekend.
All right. Well, you continue to do that. You're sounding cold, by the way.
Yeah, it's a little bit cool right now, because the weather is coming in right now. It's getting very cool right now, so
yes,
we are holding on.
Well, the late Tony Lang would say, "Don't let go."
My good friend.
What's on your mind this afternoon? Mm.
This afternoon, I want to talk about the violence that is going on in my place in downtown Kingston there. And I want to find out how come this is like in recent weeks I've been hearing on the news of people been losing their life in West Kingston. And on
five people were shot. Two of them succumbing, I think. Two dead. Two of the five, sadly.
Yes. And I'm not happy with that situation there, because how can we have the youths them just killing off themselves in the capital city, sir?
Well, the question put a little sharper would be, how come the youths are killing off themselves? Killing off each other.
We want some solution to what is going on down there. The member of parliament and the councillor, Mr. What's his name there again? Bonnie Witter.
He's still around?
Yes, man, he's still there in the Matches Lane division there.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, so we want to know what is going on, because we're hearing the full story from the police.
Well, if you can't get the full story from the police, then you're in trouble.
Yes, we are in serious trouble, because people just get walking on the street in Charles Street, the youth them in Bond Street. All of them is getting shoot down by cars with driver shooting and all this kind of stuff. Yes. And I'm aware of the situation and we want it to stop.
Yeah, well, the police and the army need to do what they've always done, which is to provide a presence. Notice how I put that. I didn't say run in and do whatever. But their presence does, in fact, make a difference, or it should make a difference.
If we have more curfew in the area, that can put a stem to what is going on, because when the curfew is in and stuff, the citizens feel more safer, and in the capital city, because we shouldn't have this kind of thing in Jamaica, same way from in the 90s, Mr. Malcolm.
Well, not just in the 90s, from before that. But the I think, who was it? Was it the police commissioner or a police officer who was saying a few days ago that they know...
Mr. Phipps. the police commander for the area, Mr. Phipps. I hear him on the radio talking.
I don't know if he was the same one, but the person was talking about, the officer was talking about now having what they call specially trained investigators, or what do you call it, crime strategist or something to that effect, that they now have in their ranks and have been deployed or are being deployed, etc.
But Sir Malcolm, it has been heavy policing in that area for decades.
Yes.
Right? And we want to know if the government can do some soft policing in that same area there between Tivoli Garden and Matches Lane, because there is a conflict of interest going on down there from Mr. Siaga days.
Yeah, this is the thing about culture. I don't know if it was yesterday I was making the point. When you have, when a culture is set, it's entrenched. It is fully operational. It's going to take, and it will take a lot to change that, or to infiltrate, or to uproot that. It's going to take some doing, because it is entrenched. It is deeply rooted.
It's deeply rooted, Mr. Malcolm, because down there we're down there in Tivoli Garden, down at the bottom there, where you have that city down there.
Frog City.
Yes, down at the bottom there. Why we can't get down there clean up and get some infrastructure work on the building them or something, and get the people them involved? That them not have to do crime, sir.
Yeah. Again, this is where those who are trained for this kind of work need to be employed. Those who are able to reach people where they are, to get an understanding of what, why, when, where, who, how, to be able to. Yes.
Where is the community organization in those areas? Who is responsible for the youth program and the kids program in the community there in Tivoli Garden and Mattis Lane, sir?
Yeah, those who have anything to do with those constituencies need to lead.
Yes.
That's what leadership is about. Leadership is not only about going around and celebrating when there's a ribbon cutting. It also speaks to joining the people in the trenches, who are trying to make the communities better.
Yeah, and make me feel, and because downtown Kingston is the capital city, you know, and the capital city not supposed to be in those kind of condition.
Hold a moment. One moment, please.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The Jamaica 4-H Foundation, Jamaica 4-H Clubs, and the United Agriculturalists and Farmers Association, UAFAJ, present their agenda webinar under the theme Blue-Green Economy, Responding to Climate Change, Opportunities for Youth. Tune in to Real Business at 10 a.m. and Power Talk at 11 a.m. on Thursday, February 2 for impactful discussions and learn about the blue-green economy and its opportunities to improve climate resilience. This broadcast is brought to you by Jamaica 4-H Foundation and Jamaica 4-H Clubs. That's Jamaica 4-H Foundation and Gender Webinar during Real Business at 10 a.m. and Power Talk at 11 a.m. Thursday, February 2, right here on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 14. 现在几点了？5点加14分。14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Cuban in Georgia is still on the line. Yes. Thanks for holding. As you mentioned, the capital city. I don't remember if it was on Twitter. It might have been on Twitter. Somebody was making a statement or made a statement that give him, I don't remember the time period now. For example, he might have said, give me 6 years. Just give me the reins of Kingston for 6 years, for argument's sake. And I almost as if he was saying, I guarantee you that what you will have is a first class, first world city. Now I'm saying if somebody is, and I don't, he is somebody of means, related to a family of means in Jamaica. And I'm saying if we have somebody saying that and stepping forward in that regard, the least we can do is at least start a conversation with that person to see.
And encourage them to come in.
Yeah. I remember being in New York watching cable TV and saw the ads running about investing in New York and no tax for 10 years or something like that. And I was like, whoa.
It was like 2 years ago. I saw it, Sir Malcolm.
And I'm saying, but why are we not doing this in Jamaica? Mind you, there is some of it happening in the redevelopment of downtown Kingston. But there's just so much more work to be done.
But, Sir Malcolm, down by where we have Tivoli Garden and Mattis Lane in the belt there where the Kingston Public Hospital is, right? We should have peace and stability in that area, sir.
Yeah.
You understand? Why are gunfighting going on around the public hospital and people are scared to go there and scared to go to work?
Yeah.
We cannot have a capital city. The capital city is supposed to be the peacefulest place in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So how can we have a capital city that it is overrun by criminals and thugs and all kind of
and this is why, as I was making reference to the Shakespeare play, was it Hamlet, where they had the play within the play? So like this would be the country within the country. So here we have the country Jamaica, but within the country Jamaica, there are some people running their own country.
Of course. And we cannot afford to that continue, sir.
No, it's supposed to be one country, Jamaica.
It's supposed to be one Jamaica and everybody working towards one goal, one aim, one destiny.
And one law.
And one law, as you said, sir.
Yeah.
Correctly. Right? We cannot have the capital city be overrun like this and night and day, every day is going years and years and the same thing happening over and over, sir. Next thing, Sir Malcolm.
Yes.
I'm a Portland man like yourself.
Yes.
Right? And my work, my road that I was born on in breastwork there, I've been ramshackled from in the 80s and nothing have been done to it. And I'm calling, I know the council don't have the resources. Mr. Roland Dexter.
Isn't he a former mayor as well, I think? Was he? Did he serve as a former mayor?
Yes, he was a former mayor of Port Antonio. And I'm calling on the member of parliament, Mrs. Vaz, if she could put some resources in the parish.
I thought I'd heard of some development in the parish, in the constituency, I should say.
Well, the development is going on, but the development is taking place around me, and I am a taxpayer, Mr. Malcolm, and I want to do my investment around here, and I can't because the road is in a deplorable condition.
Yes, there's by the way, there are some messages coming up in reference to what you've been saying so far. Someone called Warmest Front says, where is it? Deportee them too much out here. So pointing to deportees. Well, that's something we have heard for years. I don't know. I don't know the extent to which the impact is that great to blame that group of individuals. There's another one saying, change the culture. Yes, we urgently need to change the mindset, and the headspace needs urgent attention and correction.
Well, the deportee them, when they come back, they do their stuff up here, and they come back and they reach down there. There is nothing for them, and I hear that when they leave England, they get a big money, and when they come down there, it's the same problem. How can we get these people in housing, give them a job, get them back into society, and get them working, Mr. Malcolm, instead of them going into the gangs and get themselves involved and start the onslaught of Jamaicans, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have to get them registered and get them to start working and get their mind back into Jamaica and stop thinking about what them lost in America, sir.
What is clear is that we can't give up this fight. There more of us need to be committed to fighting for Jamaica and Jamaicans, and otherwise, what are we going to do? Just lay down and play dead? Just leave it up to every? We can't afford.
I'm not gonna lay down and play dead. I'm gonna keep fighting and keep talking.
Yes.
Because if I don't talk, nobody else gonna say anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's a point of duty of mine to call out whatever wrong I see going on there in Jamaica, and I don't pray and I don't talk with water out of my mouth. As Bob Marley said, I don't care who the guy is.
That's right.
And Mr. Leng, you know Mr. Leng, he was a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, we
want to see changes in the city, sir.
Yeah.
Because Batman fight for Arthur Kingston, and I don't know what happened to Arthur Kingston program.
Yeah.
Over there by Marcus Garvey, all there.
UNIA, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we just have to keep at it. Those of us who know better, let's do better.
Have to do better.
If we know somebody who is maybe on a different tangent in terms of behavior and activities.
Because nobody's gonna come fix our problem.
No, we are the ones who have, as Barack Obama said, we are the ones who have been waiting for. We must be those. Yeah. All right, let's leave it there for now. But keep up the advocacy. Yes, keep up the advocacy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the call.
Right,
Take care.
Good afternoon, and God bless you. One love, and you know I love you all the time.
Bless you too. Enough love to you too. Thank you.
All right, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And still a lot of messages. I don't know when we'll be able to finish going through all of these messages. We'll try. Bunty has sent us a voice note. Haven't been able to listen to that voice note. Here's a message via the Power 106 FM WhatsApp line. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. What is the legacy that University of the West Indies that they have to show for the 75 years of existence? Where is the cutting edge technology that they have brought to Jamaica? And this is from Richard. Richard, I'm sure they'll be ready for a debate any day. And we would encourage that kind of debate and discussion of the impact of the University of the West Indies, 75 years, and the impact over those 75 years. We should have a debate or a discussion or a round table or a forum. By all means, let's have it. Salah says, good afternoon, Dervan. I'll agree with the texter that the Spanish Town Road needs fixing, but I don't know how he can be saying that Mrs. Brown-Burke should give up the work if she can't manage. The trenches across the road were not cut by Mrs. Brown-Burke. You know, every time somebody says something like this, I remember a priceless exchange on TV when Mrs. Simpson Miller was asked if she continued to enjoy the confidence of the of what's her name, the executive director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority at the time, Jennifer, what's her surname? Jennifer. Her surname escapes me now. And Mrs. Simpson Miller, in her own inimitable way, just turns and says, Jennifer never start the fire. They were talking about the fire at Riverton. Jennifer never start the fire. So every time I see a response of this nature, I remember, which is true, she didn't start the fire, but she had a responsibility, managerial responsibility for those, for that particular portfolio. Anyway, let's move on. Was not cut by Mrs. Brown-Burke is the works agency that's responsible for it. This morning I sent a message to Mr. Stephen Shaw when he was on with Paula Ann Jones this morning. Did not hear the message read. Salah from Kingston. Jennifer Edwards, thank you very much, Norman Wright. Jennifer Edwards. And Lance, thank you as well. Oops, look at the time. We're out of time. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Tuesday, the 31st and final day in January 2023. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
January 31, 2023. Government seeking to spend additional $24.5 billion this fiscal year. Budget moves to $998.2 billion. New executive director of the Financial Services Commission to take up duties tomorrow. Jamaica Labour Party accuses parliamentary opposition of being distracted with its comments on the fraud and
at Stocks and Securities Limited. Indocom, a probing incident in which a female motorist was allegedly robbed and sexually assaulted by members of a police team in St. Elizabeth. In business news, Latin America and the Caribbean region projected to grow by 1.8% for 2023. The discussion segment of Beyond